ChatGPT Search is now available. What is it and how does it stack up against Google Search? Well, let's crack on and find out. But first, it's important to note that it's currently available on the Plus and Teams versions of ChatGPT, and ChatGPT Search will shortly, very shortly, be coming to the Enterprise version and Education versions. And in the new year, everybody will have it via the free version of ChatGPT. So good news there. So it's basically an internet search engine. It provides real-time access to the web, and it does stack up quite nicely with Google Search, as we will see. So what we have now is a globe icon in the field at the bottom here in the general sort of message ChatGPT field. And you can see that if I hover over it, it says search the web. So by clicking on this globe icon, I manually select the internet search facility. If you don't select that, it doesn't mean that ChatGPT won't use it, but its first priority will be to search its existing massive database of information, facts, and data before going out to the internet in real time. So by selecting this icon, we're kind of like forcing it to use the internet, if you like. So let's give it a whirl and see what happens. So let's just ask a fairly sort of standard question here for a real-time question. So what's the weather forecast? So you can put that in there and see what happens. You can see it comes up with searching the web, and it's figured out that I am in Cardiff because it's used the location services on the laptop, and it's given me a whole week's forecast and a nice bit of a summary there. And it's provided the source of the information, which looks like the Times newspaper there. So if I click on that, we can see what other sources ChatGPT Search has looked for, which are listed here. And then the citation for the source that it actually used is, we can see the Times and the Sunday Times at the top. Now, if I don't want this side panel here, I can just get rid of that by clicking the X symbol there. And if I want to bring it back, I can just click on the sources button here. So we can click that on and off as required. So yeah, nice, simple result there. So one advantage of ChatGPT Search is, as with standard ChatGPT, you can continue the conversation. So I could carry on here and say something like, is there any snow forecast in the next 2 weeks? So let's put that in there, and very quickly we are actually given two versions here. So it's listing my my feedback. It's given us a nice textual summary here, again using the Times as the source of the information, and it's continuing to work to provide some insights, as it puts it here, on response one, taking quite a bit of time to do that. But Google Search doesn't actually have that facility to carry on the conversation, and we can see that snow is possible in the UK during late November. Accurate and more up-to-date information. It's given me a reference there to the Met Office, so I definitely prefer this one because it's more detailed and has got a couple of references there. So I'm just going to say I prefer this response. So let's see how we get on with Google in these with the same query. So if I say, what's the weather forecast? Put that in. So very, very quickly, quicker than ChatGPT, it comes up again with Cardiff, and it comes up with a graph of the temperature and some icons, and therefore forecasts, kind of like a summary really, for the next week, that just like ChatGPT there. And I've got the tabs here for precipitation, wind, if I go into more detail, and presumably if we click that, it will give us the source. Let's see. Yeah, it's given us the different sources. So we've got Met Office there in terms of where it's getting the information from. And we've got a number of other websites that have popped up. If we want to get weather from the BBC and so on, we can then do that. So really, I would say it's pretty much equal. I guess it hasn't quite got the conclusion or the summary that ChatGPT had, but very, very simple. But kind of in terms of continuing the conversation, we could continue the conversation. So we could go on, is there snow forecast, as we did before. So we've got a sort of like a link to a website. Now, this is typical sort of like Google style, where it's going to present you with a link rather than the actual answer. And once again, it's kind of given us the forecast and let us figure it out for ourselves. So it hasn't really got that continuing conversation thing or quite the accuracy when it comes to answering a question like that. So let's go back to ChatGPT and try start a new conversation and try more business focused questions. So how can an e-commerce business selling fashion watches increase visitors to its website using social media? So we'll fire that off. So you'll see that this time I haven't clicked the globe icon. So what it's using, it is actually picking up information from its database, if you like, and providing me with loads and loads of information there that looks pretty accurate and useful. And then what we'll do as a comparison, we'll use the web search in the next search to see how that compares. So we've got 15 points and still going there. So it's being helpful and said, do I want to carry on the conversation? But what I'm going to do is click on search the web there and put in the same query and see how we get on this time. So we have presumably got fairly similar answers. Let's just check there. So actually in a different sort of like order, but broadly similar, just sort of casting my eyes over that. But the difference, of course, is that we're going to get sources this time of where the information has come from. So if we click on sources, we have got all the different search results that have been used to supply that information there. So pretty useful there. So let's go on to Google and put in this more business-like question here. So just put that in there. And so this time we're getting Google's AI overview. So Google are getting into the AI side of things, and we've actually got a pretty similar answer presented in a similar way because we've got links off to the sources here, and we've got the sources on the right-hand side. In terms of sort of more traditional style Google, if you like, we've got a little snippet from a website here, and we've got a whole bunch of website links that allow us to go off and find our own information there. So, yeah, I would say the ChatGPT answer is probably just a little bit better than the AI overview answer here because it's more detailed, a bit more comprehensive. But let's go back and try another one. Let's actually start a new conversation this time. Click the globe icon to go straight into the internet. It's like a query for a specific piece of data here or statistics. So how many electric vehicles were sold in the UK and Europe last year? Break the results down by each country. So it's now searching the web. It's gone off to the various websites. It's given me the answer via stats here and links to two websites, and it's very handily put that information in a table. So answering the question that I asked. So let's see how Google compares with that. So it's going to get rid of that search, put that in, and go again. And once again, it's triggered the AI overview, and it's given me the total answer. But let's just see the date for ChatGPT. So yeah, it was also 2022. Must be the last information that's available because Google also picking up from 2022, and it's got the kind of like the breakdown there, but it's in percentage terms rather than actual figures, although it has given the flags, which is quite nice. Whereas ChatGPT has actually given at least it's given the registrations for these three countries. Let's just see if it'll actually give the registration for the Netherlands, well, Sweden, let's say. So, do you have electric car registrations for Sweden? So let's just tidy that up a bit there and have that and fire that off. So again, sort of showing that we can continue the conversation, whether it's actually work or not. Has actually got that, so it's given us the figure there. So we've got the 33%, although it said 35 there, and maybe it's average of those two figures there, and it has actually given us the specific number as well. So for some reason, just didn't include it the first time. But that sort of specific query, this is where Google is not quite so good because it hasn't given us the information uh, in actual figures. It's given it in percentage terms there, and it hasn't given it in a useful sort of like handy table either. So let's try the final question. So go to ChatGPT, fire up a new chat here. What business network events are on this week? So a nice sort of simple question and looking for real-time information. Again, knows that I'm in Cardiff and it's given me details of an event tomorrow on Wednesday. Well, that's on Wednesday by the look of it. Wednesday seems to be the networking day, and that's it with specific links, handy links to the event itself, plus all the search results or the websites that it's been through there. So definitely answered my question. Very helpful result and a quick result there. So let's have a go over on Google, and very quickly it's come up with events this week, except they're not in Cardiff. So this one is Bristol, this one is Chester, this one is Honiton. So for Cardiff, Thornbury, and so on, Windsor even. So I would have had to actually say Cardiff here. So that's one thing that isn't quite so good. So on in Cardiff. So let's just add that and see how it copes with that. And now again, it hasn't condensed and supplied the information in a nice, easy to read format. It's just given me a bunch of links, making me do the work and research for myself. So definitely a win for ChatGPT Search there. So in summary, I think that ChatGPT Search is very interesting and it works in a slightly sort of different way. But I've certainly been using it a lot more since it came out. And if you do want to use it more, you can actually get an extension for your browser, whether it's Edge or Chrome. And that means when you do put in a search question in the bar here, you will automatically be using ChatGPT as your default search engine. So let's just try a final one and say, let's just say, how many people are on Facebook? So let's put that in there, and you'll see that it basically spins back to ChatGPT there. The search button is enabled, and it's come up with fourth quarter of 2023, which could actually be a bit better because that is a little bit dated, but. It has come up with an answer and a pretty sort of like instant answer there just by putting the search query in the address bar. So if you want ChatGPT Search to be your default engine, do check out that extension, but make sure you do get the official one from OpenAI. So in summary, yeah, it's very interesting development. I think a lot of it is going to be down to personal preferences. There still certainly might be occasions when I do want to use Google, but the advantages of ChatGPT Search is that everything is presented clearly in front of you. You haven't got to go away to different websites and do the research yourself. But I would say that the AI information panel provided now by Google does go some way to matching the benefits of ChatGPT Search. So there you have it. I hope you found that useful.